Hi, first grade. We're still reading Nate the Great and the Tardy Tortoise by Marjorie Charmet and Greg Charmet, illustrated by Mark Samant. We are on page 27, and we have just learned that Nate is going to a reptile veterinarian. And walk into a waiting room filled with rattlesnakes, boa constrictors, lizards, alligators, crocodiles, and other creepy creatures. Some of them have sharper fangs than Fang. I had seen enough bites today. I did not want to see any more, especially on me. This case had begun with bites. The tortoise was biting my flowers. Biting, perhaps that was a clue. But what could I do with it? I looked at Sludge. He was the only dog in the room who was not barking. He was sniffing. I thought about him sniffing. The trail of tuna fish, cupcake crumbs. A trail. Did that mean something? All at once, I, Nate the Great, knew that the tortoise and Sludge had given me the clues I needed to solve this case. We rushed home. We went into the backyard. I pulled out my magnifying glass. We are looking for a trail, I said, a trail of bite marks on the flowers. I looked to the right. There were no bite marks. I looked to the left. I saw bite marks, shaped like little U's, on flower after flower. Follow those U's, I said to Sludge. The tortoise ate his way to our house, so we will follow the trail of bites backward until we reach his house. Sludge and I crept through my garden, past the U's on the petunias, on the daisies, on this flower and that flower. Then the flowers stopped. So did Sludge and I. The trail stops here, I said, and the cement walk starts. The tortoise did not bite cement. We must go to the yard next door. Sludge and I rushed to the next yard. We saw flowers, and we saw U's. This is easy, I said. This trail leads straight to another yard. Sludge and I made our way to the next yard. Then we stopped. This is not easy, I said. This yard has no flowers. There are only weeds and grass. Are they on the tortoise's menu? Sludge and I peered down. We did not see any U's, but we did see a trail of dirt where weeds had been. Where grass had been, the trail zigzagged. Sludge and I zigzagged. We zigzagged to the other side of the yard. The tortoise had munched and crunched his way from end to end. Then the trail stopped. More cement. On to the next yard, I said. The next yard was full of rocks, but I saw something bright on the ground. Was it part of a flower? I bent down to look. It was Claude's sock. It was full of holes. I, Nate the Great, have just solved a case I did not want to solve, and found a sock Claude will never want to wear. I picked up the sock and put it in my pocket. Rocks and socks, I said. This yard is no help. The trail is cold, but we will not give up. On to the next yard. The next yard was full of statues. Snow White and the 7 dwarfs, 5 flamingos, and 3 ducks. There was nothing alive or green or growing. The tortoise could not have eaten here. The trail is getting colder, I said. Snow White, the 7 dwarfs, 5 flamingos, the 3 ducks cannot help us find the tortoise's home. But I, Nate the Great, will never give up. Sludge wagged his tail. We went to the next yard. It was a mess. I saw pieces of flowers, pieces of weeds, pieces of grass. The yard had been bitten to death. Sludge and I looked at each other. I, Nate the Great, say that the tortoise must have eaten many meals in this yard. This must be his favorite restaurant. And suddenly I knew why. I saw a fence with a sign on it. Beware of the tortoise. I opened the box. I spoke to the tortoise. Welcome home, I said. The case is solved. I took the tortoise out of the box. Suddenly, a lady came from behind the fence. She ran toward us. Speedy, did you escape under the fence again? You are late for lunch. Lunch? I thought. This tortoise never stopped eating breakfast. I handed Speedy to the lady. Sludge's tail drooped. He was sorry to see Speedy go. So was I. Speedy was a flour wrecker, a very slow mover, and he had nothing to say. But he was an okay tortoise. We will be back to visit, I said, if you are here. Remember where you live. I reached into my pocket. I pulled out Claude's sock. I tied it to the top of a stick. I stuck the stick in the ground. A flag for you, Speedy. This land is yours. You ate it. Then Sludge and I and the empty box started home, slowly, very slowly. There are some fun activities in this book, but I wanted to talk to you about the differences between turtles and tortoises. In Nate's notes, he says, "What is the difference? Turtles and tortoises are closely related. There's not much difference between them. Both turtles and tortoises have hard shells. Both lay eggs. Both are cold-blooded. That means they can't control their body heat. Their bodies are cold in cold weather and warm in warm weather. Turtles live in or near the water. They know how to swim. Some have webbed feet like ducks. That helps them swim faster. Sea turtles live in the ocean. Other kinds of turtles live in ponds and lakes. During the winter, some turtles bury themselves in the mud. They sleep until the weather turns warm again. Tortoises live on land. They have short, stumpy feet. They eat shrubs, grass, and even cactuses. Yow! When it gets hot, they dig holes and hide underground. Some turtles and tortoises can pull their heads inside their shells, but they cannot climb out. Their shells are attached to their bodies. And now it's your job to look at both books that we read from Nate the Great and the Tardy Tortoise and Nate the Great and the Boring Beach Bag. I'd like you to compare and contrast both books. What were the things that were the same in them? What things were different? And you can do that on the Venn diagram graphic organizer by just clicking on the link. All right, thanks. Bye.